Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time. And I'm here today to talk about natural skincare. I'm going to be talking both about what I do and also giving you some other suggestions about foods, herbal teas, and supplements that can also help from the inside out. But first, let's talk about what I do topically in taking care of my skin. And this is something that changes up quite often, but there's certain things that will always stay the same. Now, normally what I would use to wash my face especially, but all of my skin, is my homemade soap. I prefer the ones that I make from either hemp seed oil or flaxseed oil. I find they're the most nourishing to my skin, but either way, homemade soap is excellent, even if you just make it from coconut oil. But some people do find that coconut oil based soaps can be more drying, but I generally have drier skin and hair and never had issues with just my plain coconut oil soap. But I also like to use herbs in my soaps. As you can see in some of these pictures, the nice thing about adding herbs is not only are you getting some of the benefits of the herbs, but it adds a nice texture to the soap as well. It just makes it look cool, but it kind of makes it a little bit rough, so it makes it nice for scrubbing the skin as well. But I do also use natural bristle brushes in the shower on both my face and just my body as a whole. Always look for natural bristle. I have the long handled one for my back, and then I have the shorter handled ones, and then it also have the one that's more for the face. The bristles on that one are just a little softer, so it's a little better for the face. Sometimes I use the other ones as well, but I do find it good to kind of to brush the skin. And I don't think direction, though I've read people say, oh, you should brush it this way or that way. I really don't think direction matters, but I do think that using a good natural bristle brush on your skin all over your body is good for not just cleaning, but for helping to slough off the old dead skin cells and to stimulate good skin growth when you do that. And so I do that all over, especially on my face. But I also want to bring up that one of my newer favorite soaps, even though I love my homemade soap, a lot of you know about Dr. Bronner's. I've used Dr. Bronner's for years, but one day I stumbled across on Costco, they had a 3-pack of the Dr. Jacobs soap in 3 different scents, and so I thought I'm going to give this a try, because it's a natural castile soap, very similar to Dr. Bronner's, but I found I like the Dr. Jacobs brand much better. It's got a higher viscosity, so I find it easier to use for various things. It's not as runny as the Dr. Bronner's. And I like the types of scents it has better. I mean, it has some of the same ones. Oh, I just realized I brought in the coconut. I meant to grab the shea butter. I'll talk about that in a minute. The coconut's my least favorite because it hardly has any scent, but it was part of the 3-pack. I still use it. Let's see, I have the honey almond, love that one. I have sandalwood. I like using that one for my hair, but I also make that one up for Patrick. I have the rose, like that also for my hair. The citrus, it's a very light scent, but it's a nice one. I use that one to wash the dog with. But for my skin all over, the shea butter is my favorite. I love the smell. I was afraid I wasn't going to like the smell, but I really like it, and it just seems to have a little bit more conditioning properties to it when I use it for washing both my skin and my hair, because I use it as a shampoo as well. Now, I'm going to link to the video I did on the Dr. Jacobs. I actually have an affiliate link with them, because after I tried their soap, I went and found them through Costco. I went and found them online and then contacted them directly and found that if you go to their store, they actually have a lot more variety of scents that they didn't have on Costco. Generally, you can get a better deal on Amazon. However, since I have an affiliate link, you can get 10% off your order, I think, maybe more. So it works out to be about the same if you order through my link. I know you can get free shipping too. But anyway, I really like them, but I'll link to that video I did, because I go into detail on the many different uses and the various ratios, because you don't use it straight. It's very, very concentrated. So when I use it on my skin and my hair, I always mix it in the shower. I'll mix it in a small 8-ounce bottle, just a little bit, and then top that off with water and shake it up. And that's what I use for washing my whole body and my hair. And I love it. I really, really do. I do still use my own homemade bar soap, but I just love the Dr. Jacobs in general because it's many multi-uses. I also use it as a foaming hand soap and so on. And you'll see all that in that video. But anyway, I'm really happy with that. And I'll also have the link, that affiliate link, in the description box down below. So then what I follow it up with, as far as my face goes, is I have my own homemade skin cream that I've been using for years, and I absolutely love it. I also sell it on my store, but I do have a recipe, a couple different ones online. The only differences between them is the essential oils I used. You can leave the essential oils out entirely. In fact, I sell, one of the ones I sell is just the basic skin cream with the infused oil and the shea butter, the beeswax, which you can also change out the shea butter for mango butter or another type of butter. You can switch it up, and coconut oil is the other one I use, so you can tailor it to suit you. That's a nice thing about making it yourself. And it's pretty simple to do. It's just a matter of getting the ingredients. But the first thing I do before I make the skin cream is I always have an oil infusion going that's specifically for my skin cream. And the herbs that go in here change all the time because it depends on what I have the most of for that year. But these are all herbs that I grow in my own garden. And again, you can use one, you can use 10 different herbs, as many as you want or as little as you want. We're just focusing on the ones you have the most of or like best. Like you can just make dandelion flower infused oil. Now, whenever you're infusing an oil, you do need to use dried herbs. So make sure whatever herbs that you choose, you go with the dried herbs. Now, my newer oils now, I am adding the dandelion flower to it, along with the calendula, the marshmallow leaves and flowers, rose petals. If I have pansies, I'll put those in. Red clover is another good one. I do have a video on making the infused oil, so you can see how I do it, that I'll also link to down below. Just remember, those herbs in there are variable. I also have one that's more specific for a healing salve, but any of those herbs can cross over and be used. This could be used in a healing salve as well because they're all healing. So some other herbs you can look into that aren't mentioned in the skin cream one, at least I don't think I did, would be plantain, comfrey, yarrow. These are some good ones as well you can add. And hibiscus, because hibiscus and marshmallow are related, is also good for the skin and the hair. And then, especially in the wintertime, because we use wood heat, my skin and hair tends to dry out more in the wintertime, then I like to add a squirt of the castor oil to my skin cream. So I'll put a little skin cream in my hand, put a little squirt of the castor oil in there, and then I'll rub that into my skin. Now, when it comes to the rest of my body, I only use skin cream or castor oil in any areas that are really dry. I no longer find I need to put lotion all over my whole body like I used to do years ago when I used store-bought soaps and store-bought lotions. I felt I always had to do that. I don't have to do that anymore. I only use it on my face and then on any real dry parts like my feet, maybe my elbows, my knees, my hands, of course, because they're always getting washed and so they dry out quicker. So then I'll use the same thing. I'll use the skin cream, sometimes mixed with the castor oil, sometimes not. The castor oil is excellent. I have a video just on that I'll link to down below as well. Just keep in mind that video has a little chunk in the middle that's edited out because I had to for the sake of YouTube, but you can find it in its entirety over at Rumble, which now my Rumble account should now always be linked in the description box down below, which is where I'm putting all the videos where I had to edit parts out or videos that I had to remove entirely. And now let's talk just a little bit about sunscreen. I don't use sunscreen. I stopped using it years ago. I only used it when I first came to this area because I grew up on the side of Washington State where we get a lot of sun. And then you come here and there's no sun for like 9 months. So when you get that first day of full sun and it's nice enough to get out there and warm enough, then you might be more likely to get burned. So at the beginning of summer, I used to use sunscreen, but sunscreen, most of that stuff you buy is so terrible for your skin. It can actually cause skin cancer. So people who are slathering on sunscreens that they're buying at the store to prevent skin cancer, they're actually increasing their chances of getting skin cancer. There are natural ways you can go about it where you don't have to use store-bought sunscreens. Now, a lot of your natural products, like your shea butter and your coconut oil, naturally already have sun protection in them. Now, I did a video a few years back where I covered all this, where I gave some different natural oils that you can use topically to help protect your skin. And I will link to that down below. other than my own homemade skin cream, that's all I use. So I don't go out of my way to try to protect my skin from the sun, because here's the other thing. Too much of that, you're also preventing the vitamin D that you need, and you need that sun to help create that vitamin D. Yes, we can take it as a supplement, especially when we're not getting enough sun, but we really need the sun. It is super important. So if we're always slathering heavy sunscreens on all of our exposed areas, we're not getting what we need. But anyway, please make sure you check out that video. Again, it was shot several years ago, and I think you'll find it very helpful. But also sun protection happens, and I cover this in that video, from the inside out, and so does just general skin care. So the types of things you consume or don't consume is what's going to affect having a good skin health. And so I put together a list here that I'll try to remember to type up and then give you a link to that in the description box down below. But I'm going to start off by listing some herbal teas that you can make for yourself off of things that you grow or forage for, or you buy in bulk. That can be very helpful for your skin, and many other things from the inside out, and that would be like dandelion tea. Now this would be mostly the flower and the root. The flower, when infused into an oil, is really good use topically, but internally the root and the flower are going to really be good for your health. All parts of the dandelion, all parts. The stem, the root, the flowers, the leaves are excellent. I actually have a video where I break down all the different parts and what they're good for, and I personally find when those in the springtime especially, I love eating the stems. So when I'm picking the flowers to harvest them, I'll pick the stem now too and just munch on that fresh stem. It's so good. That sap that's in there is excellent for you. And some other teas would be chamomile tea, any tea made from Camellia sinensis. So that's going to be your green tea, your black tea, your oolong tea, your white tea. It's funny to me that they list these as separate, but they're all from the same plant. The only difference is how they're processed. So any of those teas that you like from that, best, go for that. That's a great tea for many, many ailments from the inside out. I personally don't like any of them very much. Sometimes I'll tolerate a couple of them, but for the most part, I don't like any of those teas, which is also why I don't care for kombucha. But kombucha is another good one for the skin because of that, and because of its probiotics that are naturally in there. Rooibos tea is another one. It's okay. I like it better than the Camellia sinensis based teas or the true tea, where rooibos has a little bit different flavor. If you like true tea, you may like rooibos tea quite a bit too, or if you would like a less bitter flavor, you would probably like the rooibos. It's kind of more of a reddish color, and I do like that from time to time, and I do have some that I'll make a tea from once in a while. I don't grow it. I had to buy it in bulk. Two of the herbs I use most in making teas are peppermint, which is also on this list, and ginger. And ginger, sometimes I'll make it as a tea by itself, and other times I'll mix it with cinnamon and cloves, a few dried orange peels, and sometimes some nutmeg. I love that. So those are my two favorites. Peppermint. I do have other teas that I drink, but the cool thing is those are the two I drink the most, and they're both on this list, the ginger and the peppermint. And then the other one is the matcha tea that is supposed to be real good for skin health. Now let me list off some nutrients. Now obviously, as I always say, especially when it comes to things like vitamin A, it's best to get those nutrients from your food rather than adding to it, because vitamin A is one of those that you can get too much of. Vitamin C is not, because your body will flush out whatever excess you take. And it takes quite a bit to get too much vitamin C. But I'll list off the supplements anyway. It's pretty much all of your letter vitamins. So A, B, C, D, E, and even F. So I just wanted to list those so you know exactly what you're looking at. Now let's look at some foods or even other herbs that are really excellent for helping the skin from the inside out. And that would be avocados, of course, and the avocado oil topically is also great for your skin, which is what I use in my infusion, but their grapeseed oil is also good, so is coconut oil. Turmeric, pretty much any fish, but really your fattier fishes, anything that's gonna be high in your omega-3s. So salmon, steelhead, I think mackerel, these are all some good options. Pumpkin, tomatoes, berries, pretty much any kind of berries, and they're also, especially the darker the color of berries, the higher in antioxidants they are to help prevent cancer, including skin cancer. Chia seeds, cucumber, any of your citrus fruits, kimchi. I have a brine-free kimchi recipe I'll link to in the description box down below as well. Kefir, and I think that would be water kefir or milk kefir, either one. Eggs, dark leafy greens, Brazil nuts, yum, walnuts, love them, and sweet potatoes. And that's just a few. And I could go on and on. So really, once you know the nutrients your body needs to help with your skin, just look for the foods that are high in any of those nutrients, and you can add to that list on your own. So again, let me reiterate, it's not just about what we put on our skin, it's how we treat our bodies internally. So when we're eating right, our skin is going to be healthier. And poor diet is going to show up in your skin, it's going to show up in your teeth, it's going to show up in your hair, and through various ailments. So diet, I'm not talking about specific diets, I'm just talking about healthy diets, eating the right kind of foods. Going as organic as possible, I believe, is truly important, especially if you can grow your own and you're getting these foods as fresh as possible. But keep in mind, a full raw diet is not healthy either. It can be very hard on the gut health, and keeping our guts healthy is also important for good skin health. So certain vegetables are better for you if you cook them first, especially anything in the brassica family. Even kale, though yes, I do love to eat some of this stuff raw from time to time. If you eat too much of this stuff raw, it can take a toll not just on your digestive health, but also on your thyroid health. So it is good to cook some of these vegetables to make them better for your overall digestion. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to check out the links and information I'll be putting in the description box down below. If you're watching me from YouTube, make sure you click on either show more right down here below my channel name, or that little gray arrow over on this side if you're on a smart device, to open the description box to find all the links there. If you're on Rumble, that description box should already be opened up, so you shouldn't have to go through all that rigmarole. Just make sure to look through there to find all that information I'll be putting. And if you have any other suggestions that you found that really help you out, whether it be a tea, something you use topically, or some kind of food that you found that once you started taking that, or something you cut out like processed foods, terrible for your skin, share with us down below how that's helped you, what it is that you did, because like I always like to do, I'd like to get everybody involved because we can learn so much from each other. So it's not just me up here blabbing away. All right, well, thanks for watching. Take care and God bless.